Welcome to episode 98 of our Family Travel Australia series. This week we continue our journey through the Red Centre, making our way from Uluru to the spectacular Kings Canyon. We overnight at the million-acre Curtin Springs station and experience a truly unique outback tour before travelling to Kings Creek station, where we stay for 4 nights in their fantastic campground overlooking the ranges. We take in all the National Park has to offer, including a number of short walks within the canyon, and tick off an exhilarating bucket list item, completing the 6-kilometre Canyon Rim Walk. Without a doubt, one of the most incredible hikes we have done together as a family. Be sure to subscribe and join us for all of the adventure.
Every change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside of status quo. If we stop believing we're meant to be, expanding our abilities. If the passion's gone, we are doing it wrong. Baby, you and I should start living now. With the whole world at our feet, we could stay or we could leave. There is nothing in between. So baby, we should start living now. 'Cause we only have this life. Wanna laugh and wanna cry. I don't wanna waste my time. So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now.
206.9. Chips, mate.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Are you even uncovered from that blanket, Jasper? Oh, there you are. We can see your
Mate,
face.
you look incredibly snuggly this morning. Eh? Best seat in the house,
Yeah.
as always. Okay, we've just filled up with fuel, said goodbye to the Rock, goodbye Yalara, goodbye Uluru, Katajuta. What an incredible few days we've had.
It's been amazing.
Yeah,
I have absolutely loved it out here.
so good. Now, lockdown has lifted across the Northern Territory, which is great news for everyone here, and wherever you are, we hope that you're keeping safe and well and looking after yourself and looking after your family, that's for sure. And we'll be a day closer to whatever that means for you, to feeling better about all this. We just realised we might actually go and quickly find the dump point, because it is literally 2 minutes from the caravan park. Ideally you'd have it at the caravan park, but I mean, fantastic, great service to be
Yeah.
able to have in the middle of the desert.
It does, and it makes sense when you get out here. It's right next to the waste treatment facility, so
Yeah.
it makes sense why it's out here.
Okay, so we are on our way now to Curtin Springs, which is one of our shortest days ever.
Yeah.
It's only 108 kilometres up the road for what is one of the most unique experiences that I think you could find in the outback.
Yes, yeah, they have
Yeah.
a fantastic offering there, so fingers crossed they are up and running as normal.
I'm pretty certain that they are completely booked out, but they said they have over 1 million acres to free camp in, so
Wow.
you should be right for a spot. In fact, he said, we've never turned anyone away, mate. Said, fantastic, that sounds like the place for us.
Love it.
All right, we're ready to do this. Our friends are in tow. They were actually just filling up with water, so we will see them there for part 2 of our outback adventure with our
Yeah.
Tassie friends.
On the way to Kings Canyon. Whoa.
So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now.
How good is this? Curtin Springs. They let you fill your tanks up here, and as it says, water in the outback is an absolute luxury. And so what they recommend or suggest that you donate $10 for filling your tanks to the local charity. And in this case, they're recommending that it's the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which is the most incredible service because it's provided free to every Australian if you need it here in the outback. We love it, and so $10 well spent.
Baby, we should start living now.
Hello, Mr. Guerin.
Hello, mate. The young proprietor here, Graham, just told me, he said, if we head over there now,
Yep.
we'll be able to camp together because it's...
Wicked.
He said it will absolutely get chockers, so
Really?
he said you'll be able to pick a good spot and get
Let's
together.
do that.
Yeah, sweet.
Sounds great.
All right, here we go.
Baby, we should start living now.
4, 3, 2, 1, action! Good morning, everyone!
Good morning. How beautiful is this day? Absolute perler. The sky is blue, the sun is shining. It is currently 7 degrees. It was much colder when we woke up, wasn't it, Jasper?
Freezing.
Oh, bless you. What was it?
It was 1 degree.
Yes, that's right. And there was actually ice all over the vehicles. So it was about as chilly as it's been on our trip so far. This is our final leg of our journey with our lovely Tasmanian family, the Merediths. We've just left Curtin Springs. We're on our way to Kings Canyon, and then they're off to navigate borders, you know, through South Australia, Victoria, and then on to Tassie. And there is a fair bit of anxiety, I think, still for those guys ahead because there's still lockdowns and closures. And yeah, so hopefully the next couple of days we can get their heads out of that and completely around exploring Kings Canyon, having a good time there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
All right. Before we do, we're actually about to pull up at a lookout called Mount Connor, and we love this. It is a very, very impressive rock red, and also known as Full-a-Roo, because as tourists, and this, I mean, this is Australian, you know, tourists and internationals as well, coming out to visit the rock, they get to this point and they think, there it is, I've seen it. And it's still a good couple of hundred clicks down the road, but it is super impressive and makes perfect sense why most people get full-rooed into thinking it's Uluru.
Yes, definitely. It is impressive.
We're also told that an unknown little secret gem on the opposite side of the road is this great inland lake, Salt Lake. So we'll see if we're allowed to put the drone up and we'll check that out, eh?
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
Means we have to get back out in the cold though.
I know. It's only a couple hours drive for us to Kings Canyon, or what's it called? Kings Station?
Kings Creek Station.
Yeah, where we'll be staying. So pretty easy drive day. All right, here we are, Mount Connor Lookout, 300 metres.
Bye.
are absolutely loving our time out here in Central Australia. Right now we're sitting at Kings Creek Station. It's about 30 kilometres down the road from the spectacular Kings Canyon. This is one of the most authentic outback farm stays I think you could find on the map.
Yeah, it is so awesome here, so much so that we've extended our stay by a few days. Let's rewind a little bit though and talk about another awesome station stay that we had. Once we left Uluru, we overnighted at Curtin Springs, which is about 100 kilometres east, back down the road, and enjoyed a really fantastic tour.
Yeah, one of the most unique I think that we have found to date, and it was the Curtin Springs paper tour. Now, we were expecting to learn all about how they harvest their native grasses and make this very unique individual pieces of paper, but it was so much more than that. To be able to have Lindy, who is the owner-operator, passionate lady, talk about the history of her family, the history of the property and their farming practices over the decades, and then for them to actually pivot and look at a new tourist product like paper making was such a wonderful insight into how these farmers actually survive and how they've been able to move into another successful part of their business.
Yeah, that's so true, Paul. And all for $35 per adult. Jasper, being 4, was free. And this is such a family-friendly experience. Lindy involved the 3 children that were on the tour in every single step of the process, whether they were making pieces of paper themselves or whether they were pretending to be cattle, as she explained some of their farming practices to us. The kids had a ball and were totally immersed in every single step of the tour.
Yeah, I think that was really the key to making it so inclusive with the kids, in that although the tour just runs over an hour and a half, everyone was engaged and everyone was captivated the whole time. There's also a really beautifully produced AV presentation when you arrive to what is an old abattoir that ceased operation about 40 odd years ago and has now been turned into a paper production factory.
Yes, and I loved that, being so resilient and living out in this remote location, they were able to reuse so many things and basically build this paper factory from bits and pieces that they have around the property, including the paper presses and everything that they needed to, in effect, cook the native grasses before they actually turn them into the paper. It was fascinating.
I love that Lindsay's whole ethos is around being able to create a tourist product that allows the tourists to take part of the environment away with them. For her, it was about using the surrounding landscape and then letting people take that landscape with them. I love that part of the story.
And the end product is absolutely beautiful. Every single piece of paper is unique and different in its own way, depending on which native grass they use, what time of year they make the paper, which I really loved. And Lindy's daughter Amy is an artist and is creating the most incredible pieces of art and jewellery, and has a gallery that adjoins the factory.
And everyone gets to take home their own piece of paper, which is really wonderful. I love that the kids were hands-on all the way through the process as well as Katie had a bit of a go. Look, I mean, you're paying $35 for the tour, but the camping's free.
Yeah, that's right. So the unpowered camping there at the campsite is free. They do have powered sites that you can pay for, of course, if you require that. Otherwise, it's just turn up and pick your spot, which is fantastic.
Yep, have a fire, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Check out all of the free roaming camels that were coming up along the fence line.
Yeah, the kids loved that. And of course they've got, you know, all of the usual amenities, beautiful hot showers that you can enjoy. They even have a restaurant on site that caters for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And you can fill up with fuel, you can fill your tanks with water and pick up any supplies that you need, including alcohol.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because it's the last stop before Yulara or Uluru and that region that you can purchase alcohol, because there is not a licensed property down there that allows takeaway. So there are limitations on alcohol, But that's a pretty good tip too. If you like to have a couple of beverages, make sure that you grab your alcohol there as a last stop.
What I loved, Paul, is that we had a real insight into this family and their life out here in such a remote part of Australia. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget that these places that you can pull up overnight and camp for free are run by families who are
Generational families.
out here up against so many harsh conditions. So to have that time with Lindy and feel like we left that tour knowing her and her family was just awesome and so worth the money.
Yeah, you know that it is that experience of meeting authentic, true characters, Australians in these places that do leave that lasting memory for you.
So definitely put Curtin Springs on your must-stop list and check out the paper making tour. It is awesome.
Okay, here we are back at Kings Creek Station. As we said, a truly authentic Aussie outback experience. The colour of the dirt here is that absolutely deep ochre red, and you can't mistake that you are in Central Australia.
Oh, yes, and Jasper has been absolutely covered in it. In fact, the boys have loved spending their days digging holes and playing in the dirt. I think it's going to be in their skin forever, actually. Okay, this place is great. It has a variety of powered, unpowered sites, some with water hookups, some not. Loads of space for tent camping. They also have a huge amount of safari tent style accommodation options on site as well, and some that look over that spectacular range that adjoins the property. They do have a pool on site. It's a bit too chilly for us to enjoy that at this time of year. However, the kids have loved playing on the playground. They've got a free laundry, which I don't think we've seen
That's
at
a
all.
first. Yeah.
Which is very cool, and of course all the usual amenities for you to enjoy.
Super hot showers. I've really enjoyed that.
Yes, especially on these chilly days. They also have a great cafe on site, which is famous for their camel burgers.
Okay, look, it's not something that we can vouch for, but the lineup was long and everyone was into these camel burgers. A really interesting fact here for you at home is that when we're at Australia's Zoo, we learnt that the one hump camel is called a dromedary, because if you get a D and you lay it on its side, it's got one hump. And the two hump camel is called a Bactrian, because you lay it on the side, it starts with B. Very cool. Here what that actually means is one homemade camel patty, a dromedary burger, or a Bactrian camel burger is two homemade camel patties. Delicious.
Yeah, look, they looked amazing and huge, and as you said, the lineup for dinner the other night was very long and lots of satisfied looking customers.
I don't know how many patties you get out of one camel, but there's plenty of free roaming camels here and they do homemade them, so look, give it a go. They are famous for it.
Yep.
Look, the real reason why you camp here is because of the location to the famous Kings Canyon. There is alternative camping options. There's the King Canyon Resort, which is about 38 kilometres from here, so it's a little bit past the canyon itself. And then there's also Ginty's Lookout. Both of those campsites were fully booked as far as we understand. But now that we're here and we've got this site, great tip, site 12, 13 or 14, you're on an elevated position and you look back across the ranges. That would be our tip for staying here. And it really isn't that far to drive in to the canyon.
No.
We've actually enjoyed that part of it as well.
Yeah, well, we even drove in to the resort for dinner. And again, another great tip, their outdoor barbecue was fantastic. The food was fresh, it was cooked in front of our eyes. Beautiful fresh salads. We loved that, didn't we?
That chef, he was on. He was the only guy. Didn't have a kitchen hand or anything. and there would have been easily 150, 200 covers of actual meals going out, and he was onto every single one and nailed it.
I think we might go back there
We
tonight.
are going back there tonight, yeah. Okay, now let's get to the real highlight, and that is the walks that you can do in Kings Canyon. Day one for us saw us take in 2 of the family-friendly, grey nomad-friendly, very easy walks. Okay, the first one was the Kings Canyon Creek Walk.
This is about a 2.5 kilometre return walk. It's graded as a level 2, very easy walk. This was beautiful and such an awesome introduction to what was awaiting us the following day with the gorge.
Everything is so beautifully signed, and the interpretation through that signage, the storytelling, the history, the cultural history, the significance of the area, the geology is second to none. Like, we were blown away with how beautifully maintained and presented this was. It was almost manicured.
Oh, yes. And you get to the end and you can actually stand up on this beautiful boardwalk and look up to the walls of the canyon and see these teeny tiny people walking along who are doing the rim walk, which at first is a bit...
Yeah. It can be a bit heart-stopping seeing people that close to the edge. That is true. It took about an hour and 15 minutes with Jasper in tow. He walked the whole way, very easy to do. If you are a little bit uneasy, make sure you take those walkers, and obviously correct footwear and water is always great. The rangers are patrolling the area. There is so many emergency call beacons along all of these walks, so you feel very safe the whole time in this national park.
Yeah, definitely.
The second walk was the Kathleen Springs Walk, about 22 kilometres back towards Kings Creek Station. And what was so special about this is that it is completely accessible. That it is a flat, in many areas, concreted, wide pathway that could take any sort of walker, wheelchair, buggy.
We even saw some people on electric scooters coming in. And this walk meanders through old pastoral land and takes you about 2.4 kilometres return down to a very sacred waterhole that tells the story of the rainbow serpent. And I loved this and doing this with the kids as well, to be able to regale that Dreamtime story to them of the rainbow serpent and the creation of the land.
I think what is so cool about this story is that part of the rocks there are called ripple rocks, and that helps really in the storytelling of the serpent because of the ripples that were left in the rock and the landscape from this Dreamtime story. So the kids really were captured by that.
And again, it is a very easy walk and very different to the creek walk because you are looking at a completely different area of the ranges and you get that pastoral landscape experience.
Yeah, the old stockyards, and you can see relics from those 130 odd years of farming in this region. Okay, the absolute hero of this experience was the following day, and that was from the car park, almost 7 kilometre return Kings Canyon rim walk. Wow. Yeah.
Now, to be honest, this is something that we ummed and ahed about whether we would actually do with Jasper, being only 4, knowing that it was a very steep climb to get up to the top, and that there are, of course, no safety rails or barriers from the cliff edges. So we had a fairly big and long discussion and back and forth a lot of times before we made that decision.
That's right. The night before, we'd actually got ourselves to a no. One of us would stay behind with Jasper. That night, we met up with fellow campers who had a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. They'd just done this walk that day with another family who had a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 9-year-old. And they really put our minds at ease. They basically said, don't not do this because you're scared or because you're fearful of how to manage the kids. you need to make the judgment on whether your kids are listening or going to follow your attention, or whether you can actually hold on to them or not, because there are definitely dangers involved. But if we were you, we would do it. And so we are so glad we did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt. I think we'd be highly disappointed if we didn't. It is classed as a grade 4, moderate to difficult. So they do recommend that if you have any issues with walking, or if your level of fitness is not sustainable, don't do it.
No, don't put yourself or others' lives at risk, because there are moments that a level of fitness is required, particularly the first 500 steps that are not traditional steps. They're just the side of the Rem Gorge that you're just traversing up and looking for markers. It's certainly not hard if you pace yourself. First impression, she's a little steep. But talk about getting the best day to do something like this. It is absolutely a pearler. Like, you couldn't get a better day. It's 10 degrees Celsius. It's going to have a high of 22. Absolutely stunning.
And so they say it takes between 3 and 4 hours. I think we did it with the kids in tow in 3 3/4 hours, start to finish. And we certainly didn't walk at a fast pace. In fact, I would say that we casually strolled most of the way. We had a number of stops as well, drink stops, snack stops, and stops to just take in the incredible views that changed at every turn.
The views to see the gorge from that perspective at the top of the rim are nothing short of spectacular. One of the most spectacular parts of this walk is Cotterill's Lookout. We actually decided to leave the younger kids with one of the parents behind. And once we had actually got out there and walked across the little bridge and then out onto really what is just a sheer face of the gorge, we were glad that we'd made that decision not to take the kids with us. There are moments that you do feel nervous or anxious, and that is more around the behaviour of other walkers, to be honest. Look, I mean, each to their own. We were blown away with some of the allowance that kids were given that close to a sheer cliff edge. We did not let go of Jasper's hand in those areas, and they're so well signed. It is amazing. I mean, there are a half a dozen helicopter landing platforms. There are emergency call beacons and communication devices spread out along the entire 6 kilometres of the actual rim, and that is for a reason. That is because accidents do happen, and people have lost their lives on this walk, which is, really tragic. But you can see why. So if you are a parent and you're taking your kids with you, just be confident in your ability to manage them.
Yeah, that's true, Paul. The rangers recommend you stay 5 metres from the edge, and I think if you do that, you still get all of those incredible wow moments from the safety. There is a large majority of the walk where the kids actually were able to walk by themselves because the trail leaves the very edge of the canyon. So we did feel a lot safer in those parts. But every turn was just incredible, particularly coming upon the Garden of Eden, which is just this lush green oasis growing in one section of the canyon with a creek that runs through it, and you walk down, I don't know how many steps to get down to the very base before you have to walk all the way back up and cross over to the other side of the canyon.
I think that's it. The landscape, although you're in a canyon the whole time, does continually change. So the entire walk, almost 4 hours, is exciting the whole time.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And I think one of our highlights of our time on the road to date, as far as an experience that we have enjoyed together as a family, that Jasper was able to participate in on his own 2 legs the whole way.
Look,
it was breathtaking.
There is a way around this for a parent, okay? And what we decided was to create the King's Lost Treasure. And for the younger ones, we created 4 stations, including down back at the car park, where they received a bit of incentive, you could call it. A bit of a treasure, a bit of a gift, a memento of our time out here in Central Australia, with their final gift, as they were noted at the very beginning, was going to be the biggest gift. So we did use a little bit of bribery, and it worked a treat. There wasn't one "I've got sore legs," one complaint. They held our hand, they listened. We set the rules up at the start, and the outcome worked. So just a good tip if you're a parent out there. Okay, there are 2 lads here that completed the rim walk today.
Yes.
The 6 kilometres by themselves,
Yep.
unassisted. They listened to their parents the whole way around.
Yep.
You didn't complain once.
No.
Very impressed. Are you ready for your present?
Yes.
Okay, close your eyes. Here we go, all the way from Kings Canyon Station. A special little donkey head. Oh, camel. It's the Stripey the emu.
Baby emu. Oh, give him a snuggie.
You feel so soft. You feel so soft.
Well done, mate.
Feel him, Jay. Oh, who's them?
I think what best sums up this particular walk for us as a family is that it has reignited our absolute love of hiking and having these type of experience together as a family unit. I think had we separated and one gone, or we wouldn't have had the appreciation that we've got. And now we can't wait to find our next hike along our track as we start to make our way closer to Darwin. We did it.
Hey, double high five. You legend.
Double high five.
The whole way. Hey, you too, driver. Well done. Amazing.
Good stuff. All right, what should we do now? Sleep? Unfortunately, we were following Adam and we got a little chip. So Adam, luckily, look at that. This man has everything in his car. So,
Mobile workshop.
anyway, that'll get us out of trouble, I think. Save us till we get it repaired, replaced. I'll probably be able to stick some gel in that if it doesn't split, you know. Here's hoping. Hey!
Play that guitar, Jasper.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
When down Louisiana leads, back up in the woods along the evergreens. So long, cat made it fur from wood. live a country boy named Johnny B Goode. He never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play guitar just like a ringing bell. Take
Go,
it away.
go! Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Go, Johnny, go, go! Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Johnny B Goode, instrumental. Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share our channel. And if you'd like more information on full-time RV travel and living, visit our website, thefeelgoodfamily.com.au. There you'll find loads of free resources, our weekly podcast, caravan cooking recipes, our monthly Go RV magazine articles and much more. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care of yourself and your family and happy trails. Jasper, the campground's starting to fill up a bit, isn't it?
Yep.
Getting busy.
Yeah, it's getting a bit busy.
You know why I got my jacket up like this?
Why?
For COVID safety.
Great. Good to see the COVID messaging's rubbing off on a 4-year-old.
So you need to pretend you're a cow.
Are you
So
mooing?
I need cow noises. You don't need any sheep noises.
See a little...
Look out, camels! I'm coming for you.
Oh gosh, I didn't say coming for you. What are you trying to do? They're big animals. This vehicle looks like it's already hit a camel. All right, Jasper.
Which way should we go?
You're going to do the Gillies track. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 1 or 2 days. Bye, mate.
Dad.
What? I'm just kidding. Come on. Let's go do this Kings
Which
Creek
track?
walk. Hey, Katie, look. Here's a sign about reading the signs in the creek bed.
Be a detective.
Don't you think that is, maybe it's just me that thinks that's funny? Do you think that's funny? Why? Hey?
Can you see the letter in the
Oh,
tree?
come on, man. That's the best dad joke I've done all day. Seriously.
Can you see the white? Aren't they beautiful trees?
How you going down there, Jasper? Mate, you're doing excellent. Singing tunes, keeping us entertained. Hey, going back there, Katie.
When down the
Oh, there's some Ripple Rock. Check that out.
Along the evergreens.
Jasper.
The line can be the wood. I live the country by I'm Johnny B Goode. Never ever learned to read or write so well, but you blanket the like wings. Go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go.
Jasper, there's a password.
King's Lost Treasure.
King's Lost Treasure. All right, let's try. Pull ring to open gate while saying password.
King's
Lost Treasure.
Treasure.
Yes.
Hey. Whoa!
Good luck, Noah. Let's see if he can do it.
King's Lost Treasure.
Right, King's Lost Treasure.
Yes.
Now shut it. Shut it.
Oh.
You know what you gotta say?
These cycads
This is
are one of 17 relic species that have survived here since dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Whoa.
Can you believe that?
this
That
has
is
got
amazing.
dinosaur plants written all over it.
It does.
Yeah, look at that, cycads. Do you know what they used to do?
What?
In one mouthful, they'd come up and they just go like this. Delicious. It's like eating broccoli. Okay. Guys, we'll see you in a couple of days.
Righto, mate. Have a good trip.
All
See you,
right.
Big J.
Come on, Jasper, let's go.
Daddy, say bye, Dad.
See here.
What? What?
Have you got enough batteries?
Aha! We found him more expensive water. $20. Did you see that, folks? Unbelievable. There you go. I thought 15 was steep, but. Jasper,
They wait for me.
what's happened? Why is your face that colour? Oh, from the red dirt. Yeah. Have you been playing in it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to go to dinner?
Mm-hmm.